Hi, Liz.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, you found Lupin About, and this is a podcast about knitting and now sewing adventures and our other adventures.
Yeah, any adventure.
I'm Alicia, also known as AK47,
I'm Liz, also known as Lizzie215 on Ravelry.
and you can find me on Instagram as lupinehook. So, how'd your week go?
Week was good.
Good, because we already met up this week.
Yeah, we did. Well, this week being relative, we've seen each other in the past 4 days.
Yeah. And I got to see minion number 2.
Yes, who you hadn't seen
long
on
time.
Yeah, he's walking.
He's got hair longer than mine.
He's walking and talking, and yeah, he's got curls, which my mother-in-law really enjoys cutting my kids' hair, so I don't want to take that away from her. So I don't care. So he's got curls, and she's like, "His curls are so cute, I can't cut them." So she only trims his bangs and like trims up the back just a little. But yeah, it's a little cute little.
Well, it looks like you got a haircut.
I did get a haircut.
And maybe
finally.
some color?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I went and tried a new hairstylist, and she was.
I think she did a good job.
I liked it. Yeah, I like it a lot. So I have an asymmetrical cut now. I don't know how well you can tell. It probably needs to be washed now. But yes, I was very excited. It was time for a haircut.
Red and you got
red and blonde.
Gryffindor.
And copper. I have Gryffindor color. Yeah, hairdressers love me because I usually go in and I'm like, just do whatever you want.
I want it shorter.
She's like, well, do you like the length? I'm like, this is about as long as it needs to ever be. Like,
Yeah.
I have enjoyed having it sort of long because usually I rock the short hair. And so she goes, well, how about I just clean it up a bit and, bring it back up to your chin. I'm like, sweet, sounds perfect. Yeah, and I'm in love.
Nice.
So.
My hair was long enough to do a French braid today.
Wow.
Yep. That's a milestone in my book.
Yeah, that's the milestone. That's about the point where she's like, man, I need
to cut it off.
See, I was getting to that point. I was almost long enough for me to pull into like a ponytail.
Yeah, and then it'll never come down again.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm like, I don't like my hair gets straggly when it gets longer and stuff. I just don't like it.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
It was time to cut.
At our age, we can do whatever we want, right?
Well, at any age,
whatever you like.
It's only hair.
Yep, it's true. Oh my goodness. Stigma of having long hair as
It's
a girl.
so funny because my mom, like, to this day, you should grow your hair out. I'm like, Mom, I'm not. This isn't.
Yeah.
You're combing it.
My Hawaiian side, like, anytime I was together with family, they're like, why did you cut your hair? Because my hair was down to
your hair was long.
When I cut it 2 Novembers ago, and then I chopped it up. Like, when I go for it, I go all out.
Yeah, she did go all out.
I was cold immediately.
And she lost like 6 pounds.
I did. Gosh, the migraines you get from long hair. Oh, I can't even. Don't even start.
And the amount of time it takes to dry.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my hair dries pretty quick. I've got a lot of hair, but it's really thin.
But still.
So but if the wind blows, it's a hot mess. So it's instantly tangled. I was always having it up. I was always braiding it. At one time, I was even doing like 5-strand braids, which are really cool. Really hard to do by yourself when you can't see it behind you. But yeah, I was so bored with my hair, I was trying new things.
So yeah. And you have it, and it's everywhere. Yeah. No offense. You find it everywhere.
Yes. Your vacuum gets clogged. It smells like burning every time you vacuum. Yeah, no, I was over it. And Sean's like, somebody at the gym the other day, my hair was wet, so I French braided a little bit, and then I pulled the rest back into a little bun. And she's like, oh, you chopped your hair off. And I was like, wait, what? No, I haven't chopped my hair off. She's like, you should. It looks so good. I was like, I've got a nice shaped head for a girl. I could totally do it. So I'm kind of getting enabled everywhere I go to cut my hair. Not sure what that's saying about the style that I'm wearing, but whatever. So what else? Did you do any adventures over the weekend?
Let's see. I took the minions to the aquarium yesterday.
Okay. The one on the pier?
The one on the pier. Do we have another aquarium?
I don't know.
You
would tell me. You have children.
I know. I was like, there's something I'm missing?
Does Snoqualmie have one?
I know. Yeah, because dear hubby was climbing in the big climb for the Leukemia
yeah.
Lymphoma Association.
Columbia Tower.
Columbia
Right?
Tower, which is the tallest building on the West Coast.
Is that 72 flights or something, or 100?
69.
Okay.
Yeah, 68 or 69. So this is like his
Fourth,
sixth,
fifth year?
seventh.
Really?
He's been doing it for a while.
Wow.
Since before we had minions.
Nice. And does he train for something like this?
Hell no.
No. So is he sore?
No, he seemed pretty good today. I mean,
Nice.
he's been exercising regularly. He
okay.
didn't go
He didn't go do stairs.
He didn't go do stairs.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and he was a little bummed because he got stuck behind a group. Because come on, the stairwells are only
Yeah.
so wide, so he doesn't have his fastest time.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the point.
Can you set yourself up? Like, is there heats of people that go up, or is it just one group?
No, they do it by time because they literally have thousands of people
Yeah.
that go up. So they start at like 8 in the morning and end at like 4 in the afternoon, and they go in heats of 15 minutes.
Okay. And how many people are in each heat? Because if
I
you
don't know,
got
a couple
behind a
hundred,
group,
200 or 300.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're big. Like the groups are big.
So do you kind of vie for your space before
Right,
it starts?
uh-huh.
Okay.
And then usually people are
What's
pretty,
your time?
Usually people are pretty good.
About letting you pass.
Not about letting you pass. Like if you think you're gonna be fast, they'll let you be at the front of the group
Oh, okay. Okay.
because they're kind of queued up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so people are kind of like, if they've done it before, what'd you do last year? What's your
Right.
time? So they can kind of get in the
range.
In the range. And
And you would think that it would be like escalator etiquette. If you're not moving, you're on the right.
well,
And
usually
then you
it
have
is.
space on the left
It
that you
is,
can
but
pass.
I mean,
right?
there's still it gets
Okay.
clogged up.
That's a bummer. Well, I'm bummed that he didn't get it the time he wanted.
But that's okay.
Yeah, he did it.
He did it, and we raised some money for leukemia and lymphoma, so that's all that matters.
So how many hours did you get at the aquarium?
We were at the aquarium for 2 hours.
Nice.
My
Did you
kids
see
were ready
everything?
after done after
Yeah.
about an hour and a half.
I saw the otters. I'm good.
They were not interested in the otters, which are my
The
favorite.
otters are the best. They're so smart and they're so playful. Oh my goodness. I don't know about the aquarium, but in general, that's what otters are. I saw a YouTube lately about a lake otter that had made friends with a puppy. So the puppy's like wrestling around with it,
Playing,
and it's showing belly. It's the thing I've ever seen. I love otters.
So they were not interested in the otters. They really liked the seals,
Mm-hmm.
and then the
Penguins?
just the big tank, the big fish tank at the the
Yeah,
entrance when you walk
yeah.
in. Yeah, minion number 2 is just like glued with
I'm
his
just gonna
face.
be here.
Yeah,
Find me later.
and then he just wants to run around. He just wants to,
Yeah.
like, the minute I let him out of the stroller, he's like,
Freedom!
freedom! And he just takes off.
So, have you trained minion number 1 to chase minion
Oh, yeah.
number 2?
Or at least minion number 1 tells me, Mom!
He's over there. He's taking off.
Yeah.
You should go get him.
You should go get him.
Oh, you're like, that's not my job. That's your job.
No,
Go
she's
get
not
him.
really strong enough. Like, he's like a little bull in a china shop. And, he's not that he's super big, but he, for some strange reason, he has, like, super baby strength.
Yeah.
Like, he can take down minion number 1 easily.
So he's the wrecking ball.
He's the wrecking ball.
So, knitting time.
Mm.
Did you loop and about? Did you take your knitting?
Yeah, I took my knitting to our friend Janelle's house
Yeah,
Friday
that's
where we
right.
hung out.
So we looped about in. Would you call that Redmond?
Redmond.
Yeah.
Yes, I would call that Redmond.
Nice. She
Um,
lives east of the city, not as far as Liz.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we looped it about at Janelle's.
Mm-hmm.
And I got minion number 1 socks done.
Yeah,
but I don't
you
have them
did.
with me because I gave them to her. She hasn't taken them off in 2 days.
Is it the sparkle? Is it the rainbow? Is it
It's
everything?
all of it. Like,
Aw.
the look on her face when she's like, Mommy, are my socks finally done?
Aw. And you had them tucked in and everything.
Yep,
Yeah.
everything's tucked in, and she was just ecstatic.
That's
So
awesome.
so I feel appreciated because she's been wearing them for 2 days, and then
She's knit worthy.
yeah, she's still wearing them today. So hence, I'm sorry I don't have them. We'll have a picture, and I will try to bring them next time at least.
Okay. That was a swirly pattern by Susie White.
Yes.
Do you remember your yarn?
42 degrees opposite the sun, baby.
It took her the whole project, but she remembered it this time.
2 months, but I finally remember it because I started that project February 5th.
Good job. Hey, that means you get to enter them into the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, I can, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I have to go find that now.
And you get a yarn bonus, and you get a pattern bonus.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, all
Nice.
the things.
Good thing you know all these rules.
Watch out, team. Well, you're not on my team.
No.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you all this.
I will do that. I will do that at lunch today.
Awesome. Yeah, so great pattern.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so much fun. And it's a good pattern if you have like I had very bold stripes, which nothing else would have gone well with that. It would have been hard to find a pattern to go very well with the super bold stripes.
And there were lots of stripes.
Yeah, and there were lots of stripes, yeah.
Because there was at least 6 colors or 7 colors.
Seven.
Yeah, so when you get a 7 striper, your stripes are pretty thin. So even for a kid's sock, they were like a normal stripe for adults, right?
Yeah, they were a normal stripe for adults. So I got through each color twice and then some colors or 3 times on the sock.
Okay.
For her.
And what did you do about your heel?
Nothing. Oh, I did fish lips kiss heel.
Yeah.
And so it made a couple of stripes on the front smaller, but
I'm fine with
I'm fine with that.
It doesn't bother me like other people.
No, it's more of a hassle for me to change colors and do my heels in a different color than it just.
And then tuck in an extra end.
Yeah.
It's so not worth it. And I have done it where you do that clasp weft join.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not worth it.
No.
For me. I think I love the process of gusset heel for me. Anyway.
So it wasn't worth it. So yay, finished.
I've got it finished.
What'd you finish?
I made a hat.
Oh.
So this is the garter ear flap hat by Pearl Soho. It's also a free pattern. So both of our FOs this week are finished free objects. It took longer to reduce this hat than it did to get to the reductions. I don't know. Well, I was looping about. So I was at my parents' house.
It looks like one of those baby hats.
It's a kid's hat.
Oh, it is a kid's hat.
So yeah,
oh my gosh,
has ear flaps.
This does fit me.
Isn't that precious? Yeah. So that's going to one of my nieces, probably the smaller one. But garter is really stretchy.
Yeah.
So even if you put it on a kid, it's not gonna stretch as much as it does on an adult.
It's
so
super cute.
Now it's a garter, so there's a seam in the back, but that's okay because it's going to a person who's not a knitter, right? So that'll give them some indication as to what the back of the hat is. Ear flaps to keep them warm. Those are so done in short rows, and they were super fun. There's a rolled brim, so your first couple rows is knit, and then the rest is in garter.
That is a super cute hat.
It's super adorable. They love gnomes, so this
it looks like
a
gnome hat.
A gnome hat for them. This is out of Slumber Party, which is from the kit we got from the Succulent Zombies. There's purple and blue and gray in there. Yes, you have seen this colorway before. I finished another hat for my first niece in a different pattern. It was the Irma hat, also held double. This is fingering held double. It calls for Erin. So I did mine in DK. It's really stretchy. It's on 7s and 8s. And you would think that you're going to cast on with a 7 and transfer to an 8. It's the other way around. So lucky for me, I brought DPNs in both sizes, not even thinking, because I cast on at my parents' house and I bound off at their house. So your cast on is in a US 8, your bigger needle, and then you transfer to your smaller needle to do the rest of the hat. So keep that in mind so that you travel correctly. I happen to have some fixed circulars in 7 and 8s, 16-inch. So I brought those along, and in both sets, they both had sets of DPNs in with them. So I pack my 16 inches with my DPNs because when you use a 16-inch,
you're making
a hat.
Yeah.
So it worked out, thankfully, because I would have been really bummed if I could just cast on and do this much of my hat before I was like.
So obviously you did not read the pattern beforehand.
I didn't read the pattern beforehand. Well, because you make assumptions, right?
Yeah.
As I did. So don't make any assumptions about this
Read
hat.
the pattern.
It's gonna surprise you.
Read the whole clue.
Yeah.
As my little sister likes to say.
It's good stuff. So I would definitely make this again if I were someone who repeated patterns, which I'm not. Pretty quick. I did it in an evening because the first part of my trip was sewing. And you'll see that later. How about your thesis? Did you get another
I
hexi?
got a hexi-proof, and I counted this time.
Yes, how much do you have?
I have 112 with what Allison gave me. So
you might be a third of the way there.
I might be a third of the way through my best.
How exciting is that?
I may actually finish before she's 18.
Whoa, that's crazy talk.
And then I can start on minion number 2, Sexy Puff Blanket.
So you're gonna be nearing 200 at the end of this year because she's trying to do 52 this year.
Yep, I'll be a little over halfway there.
70 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting!
So,
Congratulations.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. No, it's little milestones like that kind of help you motivate.
Yep.
On a big project.
And that's all I worked on this week.
You were trying to get that square done.
I was trying to get that square done, and I'm
a
dogwood blanket from Tin Can Knits. I am 1 row away. I tried staying up late last night to do it, and I crashed. I couldn't do it. Darn it. But I will finish that this week, and I will bring it. I won't block it, so you guys can see blocking and unblocked.
That would be dramatic.
Yes,
that would be awesome.
I won't block it because I still have 2 more squares to do, so it's not like it needs to be blocked immediately.
Mm-hmm. Good call. All right, I started a new project because I got that top off the needles, right? So I was allowed to do something different. So I'm using Marigold Jen.
Did you get another project from the? Huh? Oh no. Okay, sorry.
And this is Yak 3-ply sock weight yarn. So it's 70% merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. You get 437 yards and 100 grams. And this is superwash, but it says wash gently, dry flat. So super wash, but don't do anything because there's yak in it.
Yeah.
So this, I hope that's showing up. Can you see it? It's got blues and purple and green and teal. It's gorgeous. This one's called Dream Weaver.
Yeah, that one is gorgeous.
You might need to look that one up on her website. It's gorgeous. So that same purple that's in there is my secondary color. I'm wearing purple, so that's probably not helping. But it's a deep, deep purple. There's not much variation in these 2 skeins, but they needed to go together. One, because they're the same base and the same person. And so I cast on Vacillate. You're not going to be able to see.
Now, what is Vacillate?
Vacillate's a tingle. I did a variation where your make ones could be a make one where you do one of those loop.
The reverse loop. I like that make one.
Yeah. Or you can do it with yarn overs. Well,
I don't like yarn overs because they make the holes. No.
Yeah, I love the holes. 2 reasons. There isn't a lot of variation between my skeins, so I wanted to be able to count my rows somehow because there's repeats. You do a certain number of repeats and then you get to the next section. So I needed something to help me count.
So you're doing the yarn overs?
So I'm doing the yarn overs. And I'm kind of excited about that because it's going to make it wider when I block it. Mm-hmm. And I think it could use some more interest.
Make it airier.
Yeah. So I think it's going to work well with what I'm doing because it's going to be super subtle. The ones that you normally see are like super high contrast between your 2 skeins.
Oh, so pretty.
Easy enough that I could do it while I was looping about on a train.
Well, where were you on the train?
So my parents live in Bonnie Lake, so it's near Sumner and Auburn area. So I caught the sounder in Sumner and then rode the train into the station at King Street Station, which is downtown. Well, King Street Station is right across the street from Jackson Street Station. Is that what that one's called in the ID?
Yeah, in the ID, yeah.
Yeah, so I was in the International District, so all I had to do was cross the street, go upstairs, cross the street, go downstairs, and I could catch the light rail home.
Dude, you should do that to go to your parents all the time.
Yeah, well, I usually catch a ride with Dad so he can be carpool on the way home, because my dad works right down the street from my house. Actually, Sean met me at the light rail station, which is about 7 blocks from our house, and we did lunch, kind of chilled out. I knit a little bit more. Yeah, so it's a good mode of transportation to get home, and I think it's like $5.
Yeah, but I mean, the more importantly, not even the money, is the lack of stress. Like you're not sitting in
Lack of
traffic.
stress, lack of
you can
driving.
knit.
I can knit,
Yeah,
which never
right.
happens.
I love the train.
Yeah. No, and it goes fast.
Mm-hmm.
So light rail goes a bit slower, and you know you're moving.
Yeah, you
On the train, you're not even getting motion sick while you knit because you're going at a pretty good clip. You slow down through Soto, but that's about it. South of the Dome is Soto, which is the warehouse district where all the shipping lanes are, right? So you're
Yeah,
kind of going
sense.
slow because there's a lot of other trains, and you might be holding up so that you don't have to, so you can use the track that
a cargo train.
The cargo trains are on. So we don't have different lines for cargo or passenger. So because they share the same tracks, you only get commuter a small window of time in the morning and in the afternoon. So I would rather not drive. Given the option, I'd rather ride a train. What stinks is that the train doesn't run on the weekends.
Yeah, that does. The commuter train.
Yeah. So if I'm going to visit them on the train, it's gonna have to be during the week. So I can adjust my schedule for that. But if I were any other person who was just trying to visit friends, family on the weekend, you couldn't do it in a leisurely way. I was looking to see how to get home not this past weekend, but the weekend before. 2.5 hours. It took me all the way to the airport. We went on 3 different highways to get back to Renton. And the other weekend when I was going to come back on a bus maybe, Sean's like, no, just come home. I said, but 2.5 hours on a bus. And he's like, yeah, but you've been gone for 2 nights. I was like, yeah, but what's one more night? Can we just go one more night and then I can ride a train?
You can ride the train tomorrow.
It's about the mode of transportation. It made more sense. Anything you're planning to cast on or what you're working on next week?
Yes. So
What?
next week starts April.
Yeah, it does.
Or Sunday starts April. You know,
Yeah.
Easter is April Fool's Day.
Okay, that's Sunday. I'm gonna
Yes.
have to remember that. Okay, Sunday.
And so Sunday,
we cast
because
on
it's
for
the new
second
quarter.
quarter.
it's the second quarter of our sweater year
Our
top.
sweater knit along.
Or year top. This doesn't have to be a sweater. Year top. So I'm going to do sock arms.
We talked about this before.
Yeah. For minion number 1.
Ooh.
Yep. And I will be probably doing the size 8 or 10.
So are you going to tell her this is for her so that she can nag you all the time?
Oh yeah, because I need the motivation.
Okay. She's taking that as a positive and reinforcer.
I need the motivation.
I'd be like, no, this is a shawl for me.
So yes, I will be. Well, if she asks, I'm not going to share the information
until you have to.
Until I have to.
Yeah.
So that's what I will be casting on, and that is the yarn is Mustache Yarns.
Mm-hmm. How'd you find them?
You showed me them.
Back in the day.
Yeah, but so my 2 fandoms, or one of my big fandoms is Star Wars. Mm-hmm. The other one's Harry Potter. But I really love.
She's a big Star Wars.
I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I read all the books that came after the movies. I haven't quite gotten into the cartoons yet that have become popular in the most recent years, like the Clone Wars and stuff. I hear they're really good. There's limited time.
Yeah, it's true.
And so Alicia's like, hey, I found this lady who does Star Wars, like, self-striping yarn.
Mm-hmm. And she was just doing it for a limited time, right?
Right, she was doing it for a limited time, even though she's done a lot more since then.
Yeah.
She has great colorways.
She does.
And it's Mustache Yarn. And
you got like C-3PO or something? Not C-3PO.
I've got R2-D2. I've got Yoda. I've got Han. I've got Leia. I've got a lot, which I haven't knit into anything yet.
She just admires it from a distance.
Exactly. But the cool thing, she mostly does sock yarn, and the cool thing about her yarn, if you buy a must-match kit, she gives you 2 identical skeins. Like, she cuts them. That start at the same, right? So you can make perfectly matching socks, even with self-striping, without you having to do the work of
like finding the color again.
Finding the color.
Oh, I have to cut this much out. So then you have like 3 grams of not usable unless you're Liz here who's making hexy boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you feel like you've wasted yarn.
And so then, but anyway, she teamed up with
A designer, right?
designer Telly Bean Knits.
Mm-hmm.
And Telly Bean designed this sweater, the sock arm sweater. So it was a cool way to use self-striping yarn on
Not a sock.
not a sock,
Yeah.
on
On a
sleeves.
circumference that
And
is
then-
faster.
Even better. So I really enjoy superhero movies too, Marvel specifically. So the colorways they decided to do were Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
And so for Minion number 1, I chose the Star-Lord body, pink, and then the Good Guys arm sleeves.
Okay. And what colors are in there? Blues and...
So in the Star-Lord, it's like a pinky mauve-y color, which my daughter is all into pink. And then the Good Guys has pink and green and blue, so a little bit of all the major characters, and then some brown, probably for Groot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gamora.
And there's green for
Oh,
Gamora, and blue for, I'm going to guess blue's for Yondo. He does end up being pretty good.
What about the blue guy with the red tattoos?
Oh, yeah. Or Drax.
Drax. There we go.
Drax the Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
Is Drax blue?
I think he's blue with red.
Okay. I can't
Right,
remember
his
right
skin
now.
is
I
blue
don't
and
know
he's
why
got-
it's good.
Yeah.
So Drax.
He doesn't wear a shirt through the whole thing.
Yeah.
How did you forget?
And then, some brown, some lighter brown cream colors, probably for Rocket.
yes, the raccoon.
The raccoon.
The trash panda.
Trash panda, that's right.
Well, that's exciting. That'll be a fun one. Well, I'm going to be starting a new one too. Now, I have some sweaters quantity. None of my sweaters quantity would fulfill what I wanted to make out of this book. So by hand, I want to make pike stout. Let me show you a picture of that.
I'm so jealous.
Let's see if I can always cut out and edit that.
You can blur it.
Can you see the cables on the front? And there's a turtleneck. It's the poncho style, right? Poncho sweater.
Poncho.
Yeah. And it's by Thea Coleman. And so I thought, okay, I have a purple quantity, but I didn't really want it purple.
What is it called for? What size
for
yarn?
my size, which is, I think I'm going to do them, I think it comes in small, medium, large, and I'm doing small. Because it's got like 12 inches of wait, that might be a different one I was thinking.
I think that
It calls for heavy worsted Aran, so I'm doing DK.
okay. So it'll be lighter. That makes,
Yeah. And it calls for 6 skeins of 175 yards. So 1,200. And I think it said about 1,275 for my size online. It doesn't say here, but I had 1,200 of a lot of things.
Just not that extra 75.
Yeah, like that one, the sweater quantity I just bought from the Sewing Expo.
Yeah.
It's 1,200. And it would be the worst to get to the bind off and not have enough, right? Even just for the bind off, right? So I decided I have a Christmas gift certificate, and I should just go check out that store because I had never checked out that store anyway. Just let me. I
What
know it
store?
says that there was positive ease necessary. I'm trying to find out how much it was. But I'm doing the finished measurement of 45. So that'll be 10 inches of positive ease for me. And that's their smallest size. It's called Stitches. And it's actually in Capitol Hill. And we were going to UW.
I've kind of seen that place.
Right? So I looped about on that. We took the light rail. The light rail starts at SeaTac, which is the airport, and it goes all the way to the University of Washington, going through some Seattle neighborhoods along the way. Well, it goes through my neighborhood. So we caught the light rail here. So we walked 7 blocks. I packed my Sumu Zukaze to take pictures at UW. And we stopped in Capitol Hill, which is the stop before the University of Washington. And I said, hey, I bet this is walkable from the station.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Anything Capitol.
yeah. So I'll bring my gift certificate. We'll go find the store, grab a coffee, because my husband grabs coffee everywhere we go. And we can judge a new place, because all the places that we knew are gone and since replaced by other things in Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill has changed so much since college days. And I really haven't frequented that area much since probably 2008, probably 2008. I had some friends living there. But anyway, so we found this store. It's called Stitches. It has material for sewing, and then it has Cascade yarns.
Yeah, it's not a yarn store. It just
has yarn.
It has yarn.
Yeah, a good price. So I bought 6 skeins of this color. Now, initially I was thinking I'm gonna use this for my hexagons.
Oh yeah.
And they had 6 matching skeins, and I probably needed a little over 6. Like, I could adjust how much yarn I need for that third color that I'm adding to my quilts.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got home and I was thinking, hey, this would totally make my sweater that I'm looking at. And a friend gave me the gift certificate, so it would be nice to knit it promptly, right? So this is going to be my April cast on. So if you guys have Cascade yarns, this is Cascade 220, 100% Peruvian wool. Means it's not superwash. I don't really enjoy the superwash as much as I like the wool. This is colorway 4800, or wait, 8400. Way to interpolate. They had 7 skeins there, and 6 of them were matching, so I picked up 6. So I have 6 times 220, which is more than they asked for because they want 6 of 175.
Yeah, so you should have plenty.
Yards. So yes, I should have plenty enough to do this. And I have 2 solid hexagons that I want to put into my hexagon blanket, like 2 open spaces that I could do in gray.
Well,
if I have leftovers.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So I have options. I'm very excited. It's going to be so amazing. Cascade Yarns is a workhorse. I love it. And it's local to us. I don't know exactly where it is, but I want to say it's west of Cascades. It says Cascade Yarn, Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
But I don't think they get it from a mill that's outside of Seattle, I feel.
I think their headquarters are just here. I don't think any
I
dyeing or processing.
I don't think they do the processing here in Seattle. If they did, we would know about it.
Yeah.
That seems like something we should know. But yeah, I was super stoked. It was a cute little shop. I didn't see any material there that I wanted, but you guys already know that I have enough material for my sewing project. For, 7 sewing projects now, because my auntie said, hey, I have some stacks of just charms. Is that what those squares are called? I don't know. I think they are. Little charm packs, and it's squares. And so she brought me a bunch of Aloha print that she had in her stash that she's had for years. She said she's had them for at least 7 years. And so since she hasn't worked on them, I should take them. I said, okay, sounds good to me. So speaking of extra credit, unless we have anything else to talk about. No purchases.
No purchases. I'm still doing good.
I only had to purchase 3 of these out of the 6 because of the gift certificate.
With my
I did good.
With my socks now finished, I am up to 1,300 yards that I can buy.
Brilliant.
DK.
Are you thinking of getting heavier weights, or are you thinking fingering?
I'm thinking DK. I have enough fingering, and a lot of the sweater patterns that and so that means at 1,300, I can at least buy a sweater's quantity of yards.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're good. And then you're gonna do a sweater right here, so that's gonna be even more. You're gonna get that done by June.
Hopefully, yes. The sock arms.
I got my second one done. Which way can I go to make it take full screen? So there's a star and a tree, and then a crazy house.
I love the crazy house.
So it asks to be 2-tone like that. And I got the doorway done, and it was so busy. And I was making lots of mistakes, and so I left, and I came back another day. And when I came back, I thought about doing this upper bit in this blue, like the solid, because that was so busy. Let me get it closer. It was me. I picked a busy skein. Now, I was told that to do paper piecing, you should use solids. Nobody tells me what to do. So, it's my own fault that it's as busy as it is, because if it were solid, it would look a bit more collected. But yeah.
Who told you to
Oh,
use
gosh.
solids with the paper piecing?
Oh, all the tutorials you watch. Every single tutorial I've ever watched tells me that, but I don't care. It's my blanket. So, yeah, I got. Let's see if there's anything interesting about this that I wanted to say. I don't think so. My auntie gave me the curtains, so I integrated those in. They're not aloha print, but I wanted to put them in. This yellow is part of the colorway that made this guy, the chimney. And then I wanted to accent the red that was in the surfboards. So then I had to get the surfboards in there, right? So there's a couple of surfboards and a sunset in there so you could see the red that I was trying to highlight around the windows. So it's been really fun. Really fun. And I decided that everybody needs a maple tree. There's a Japanese maple that went a little crazy. Or it's just a maple tree when all the other trees are not in autumn. All the other trees are going to be in spring. But this one's awesome because it needed to be red. So that's the plan. So this block number 2, which is Amelia's house, is going to be...
It's a good thing you chose white as a background.
Right? I cannot tell you guys the torment of the background pieces that I had for months. Like, that's why I didn't start when I was ready to start in January. I couldn't start because I didn't have white. So my mom was in Hawaii in January, and so I was able to ask her to look for white on white aloha print, like wedding print. And then I found a fat quarter that was white on white with numbers when we were at the sewing expo, which was only just last month. So that kind of kicked me into gear. Like, Mom brought a bunch of white, and then I realized, ooh, that's not going to be enough white. And then I picked up a few fat quarters for the rest of the white because in the pattern itself, it had tans and white in the sky area, and it just looked not together, right? Because it kind of blended in with trees and stars and stuff, and then it was like looking for puzzle pieces in a box of a jigsaw puzzle, right? I didn't want that. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the white background. And yeah, so this should be right next to the other one I just finished, the purple house. Will be next to my blue house. And then I'm on row 2 now. And I skipped block 3, and I'll come back to it. And block 4 is row houses. I'm really excited to do the row houses. I've decided that they should probably be the same print in different colors. So my auntie has some that I can pick from that is red, like an olivey green, and a black that are all the same print, but in those different colors.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And so, yeah, I think that would be fun. It'll kind of remind me of some of the old townships in Oahu that were near me going to school at UW. So, or UH, sorry. I went to the University of Hawaii for a year, and I went to the University of Washington the rest of the time. Yeah, so I'm super stoked. This is so fast. I don't know why anybody knits. This hobby is so quick. Oh, I've made another thought that might make it through this whole project. I think I'm going to do 2 tops. So this is called the top. The pretty part of your quilt, and then the back is plain. I'm gonna make 2 tops.
You are.
Because I don't need 2 quilts, right? And I have lots of scraps. And it's my quilt, so I can do whatever I want. Are you getting the theme? So why not have something you could just flip over?
Reversible? Yeah, I was gonna say reversible.
So I'm gonna have a reversible quilt. So if you have some advice to tell me why
Would it be itchy,
there's a front and a back,
Itchy?
I'm going to do more of a patchwork.
Okay, on the back side.
It's not going to be another one of these.
It's not going to have as much. Okay, see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to be as busy going on. But I don't have pets. I don't have children.
You do have a pet. Malu, don't take it bad.
She doesn't climb on anything, right? She knows her place, and the place is pets go on the floor, right? So she's not up on the couches. She's not up on the bed. unless she's terrified and then she wants to be right here. Wherever you are, she wants to be right here. So we sit on the ground with her. But I don't have anything that'll destroy it,
Sure.
right? I don't know why there's a nice side and a not so nice side to quilts. So if you guys quilt, anybody who's watching, and you need to wise me up a little bit because I know nothing. I accept it. I'm telling you right now, I know nothing, but I think I want a reversible quilt.
I think maybe because people are just lazy and they don't want to do two tops.
That could be. Or they just want to display one side.
And
But
you
I
can only
you
see
can
one
change
side
it
at
up,
a time.
right? Season change, turn my quilt over. Because I have a lot of quilts. My mom's best friend, my Aunt Delcy, makes these quilts. The quilt that you see behind us. I had another one that you've seen before, but it falls more than this one does, so we don't put that back there anymore. I have one my grandmother made me. I have two others from my Auntie Delcy who made this. So I don't need more quilts. There is not a need. But I have t-shirts downstairs that could make a quilt. And I've learned about some techniques about how to cut them so that they don't like scrunch up, because t-shirts are knit, cotton that's knit together. So of course they're going to roll on you if you cut them. But I found out adherence to the interfacing first and then cut, your
golden.
your sides are good. Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's the plan. I'm going to finish my top, which is going to take a while because row 1 is complete. And I have 4 rows to do. But it is so fast. Why do we knit? So that's my question. Because we can make clothes. Yeah. You can take knitting with you.
You can take knitting with you.
That makes sense. Yeah. Because if you're going to stipple a quilt on your own, you're not going to be packing a quilt with you just so that you can hand stipple the whole thing.
I'm
right?
not hand sewing anything.
Yeah.
I can understand doing it with a machine.
My mom said she put buttons on in a car. Recently, they went to Portland. They drove to Portland. And she said she brought buttons to put on her trip. And I said, oh, well, that's a sewing thing that you could do.
Buttons isn't bad, but how often are you putting on buttons?
I think you would probably strive to have buttons on whatever you're making so that you could travel with it. But yeah, okay. Knitting for travel.
Knitting for travel.
And this week, I traveled a lot with my knitting.
And think about, well, you just said you like wool.
We live in a van.
Think about
especially in the summertime.
You like wool.
I love wool.
Don't think you can knit
No.
wool too much.
Or sew it.
Or
Yeah.
sorry, sew it.
Well, you could probably sew felted things.
Sew felted things.
Yeah,
but
felted
do you really want to wear
pieces.
felted?
No. Well, jackets. And they have buttons.
How many jackets are you going to be making?
I'm not going to be making. I'm not making apparel as far as I know right now. I'm kind of intimidated by those kind of patterns and cutting, because I'm having a hard time just cutting against with a rotary cutter against a ruler. I'm having a hard time with that. It starts wandering, and I'm like, wasting some more yardage here. Go, Leisha. So yeah, it's been a really fun adventure. The sewing machine that works well is a good thing, right? Because we used to have an old Singer from the 60s that we were using and didn't realize how behind the times that machine is until we got this one. And now it's night and day. My mom has made 2 little aprons, 2 little placemats for my nieces. She's already planning her next project. So
wow, your mom's really getting into
it was the sewing machine.
It was the sewing machine.
That was her stumbling block to get her sewing bug back. So I'm really glad that, and my dad's really glad too, because that was, he was like, oh, is this going to be a good Christmas gift? And I kept saying, yeah, it is, because I wanted to use it.
It's all about you. But it ended up being
It ended up being a great purchase for Mom. It only took her 4 months to use it for the first time.
That's okay.
But she's in it.
Better late than never.
Yeah. And she really needed a shove. I pushed her right into the deep end. So it was good. And my dad sews too. So it'll be fun to see what he's going to make next also. My dad made me and my brother a quilt for when we graduated high school. Now, growing up, we had a quilt that we would fight over that he made out of his sailor pants. They were jeans, but the sailor ones, the ones that were flared at the bottom, the bell-bottom ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could just cut the inside seam, and you'd have a panel that pretty much covered a quilt, because my dad has like a 36-inch inseam or something. So it was awesome. He just lined them all up, sewed them, he, stippled them himself. It was great. So Kurt and I, Kurt is my brother, just fought over this thing. And I kept telling him, when I leave the house, this is mine. I'm leaving the house first. This is mine, kind of thing. So we went back and forth, and all
Like
through
siblings
childhood. All through childhood. Little did we know Dad was making us quilts for when we graduated high school so we could take it off for college. And I use mine every single day still when it's cold, because
it's heavy.
jeans are heavy and warm. Oh my goodness. Love it so much. So yeah, I think his quilting bug might come back, especially watching what I'm doing. I am the image of my dad. Like personality, engineering wise, like all of that is from Dad. So I think he's very intrigued by what I'm making right now. So that would be really fun to do a project with him or for him. Maybe themed on his Navy days, because my dad was a flight engineer for P3 Orions. So they were the big prop planes, the ones with the 4 props, and they were anti-submarine vehicles. And I think he would be really stoked if I made some kind of pattern.
You should find it.
We'll see. We'll see what comes of that, because I think he would be stoked. I could see, like, if you have the airplane at an angle so that the wingspan takes, like, the diagonal of your quilt, you could get most of your quilt to be the airplane. Yeah. It'd be pretty cool.
Uh-oh.
If anybody's watching this and designs these things, I hope they make it for me. I will buy it. So that's the idea.
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you for Nettie1020 back in, gosh, it must have been late August or September. She asked the question, what would you do if you had more time? I'm doing it and I'm addicted. So thanks a lot. It's killing my knitting mojo. But sewing is so fast. Well, that's all I have to share.
That's all I got too.
All right. There's a retreat coming.
Yep.
If you're coming to our houses, well, we're meeting at a different house.
We'll see you in a
We're
couple
going to
weeks.
see you in short weeks.
Yes.
Less than 3.
Yes, 2.5
Yeah.
about. Yep.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see you guys. Until we knit again.
Bye.
Bye.